Hi friend, it's So from So's Real Thoughts, and today I am going to be talking about Mr. Robot Season 3, Episode 8, Don't Delete Me. Before we get started, if you did not see my review and breakdown of last week's episode, please click on that. I will link it up here and down below, because that was one hell of an episode, and there's going to be full of spoilers in this breakdown. So go watch that. Also, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I would also like to just say that I'm a little sleepy. I've just been working all day, and I vowed to do this Mr. Robot breakdown review every Wednesday, and it's taking a toll on me, but I'm gonna do it because we're so close to the season finale, which is in 2 episodes. So I'm just gonna jump right in. So this episode starts off when Elliot's father pushes him off the window, and then he takes him to the movies. His dad is like, "Oh, are you gonna forgive me?" And he's like, "No." It's at that point Elliot's dad collapses on the floor, and Elliot just takes his jacket and leaves his dad there, goes into the movies by himself, and watches the movie. Fast forward to present day. It's 3 weeks after Trenton and Mobley got framed for everything, for all the hacks and them just being framed as a terrorist. It's been 3 weeks. Elliot's cooped up in his apartment. Darlene comes in and says, "You gotta do something about Angela. Angela looks a fucking wreck." And Elliot's like, "I don't care right now. I just need to be alone." And there's this really emotional moment between them, which is fantastic. Elliot's like, "I've been trying to get rid of him. I can't. There's no way I can get rid of him. I even tried to put myself in jail and he keeps coming back." Elliot tries to take further actions, takes his Mr. Robot jacket, throws it away out into the streets in like the dumpster. He goes to this drug dealer, buys a whole bunch of morphine pills, and I think he feels guilt by Mobley and Trenton's death, and so he goes to Mobley's house where his family just shuns him, says, "No, we're not going to support a terrorist." And he goes to Trenton's house where her family is moving away because they'll forever be known as a terrorist, especially them being Muslim. Elliot goes to the beach by himself where there's this little kid that appears, and he won't go away. He's just being a little annoying kid, and turns out it is Trenton's little brother. He basically tricks Elliot into taking him to the movies where they see Back to the Future. It is the exact same day when Marty, Dr. Brown, and Jennifer arrive in 2015. That same day, they go to the movies to watch Back to the Future, and he was like, "I've always wanted to watch this." But his little brother disappears midway through the movie, and Elliot finds him at the mosque. They have this really sweet moment and exchange where they kind of let their guards down and try to get to know each other a little bit further, especially because Elliot keeps saying he has somewhere to go, he needs to do something, and he's like, Can't you just hang out with me? Can't you just like chill with me for a second?" Her little brother is so freaking cute. He basically talks about how he is the only American-born citizen in his family, so he can be president one day, and he thinks that's super cool, and they just have this really great moment. Eventually he takes him back to his house where they find out that he actually had the keys to his house the entire time, so Elliot's like, great. And something about this exchange makes Elliot really choke up, and he gets so overwhelmed with emotions he starts crying. Trenton's little brother comes back with a lollipop and he says, "Here, you said you were sick." And I was like, "Oh my god, that's so sweet." Elliot walks off. He goes into this really moody red hallway. Turns out it's Angela's apartment hallway. He is like, "Hey, it's me. I just want to talk." And Elliot starts reminiscing about the past and how they both used to make wishes and about them going on road trips and whatnot. And Angela's on the other side of the door just listening. Eventually, they just kind of have this really great moment where they talk about that it was never about the destination. It was always about how much fun they had just wishing. And it was just this really bittersweet and poignant and just heartfelt moment considering everything that happened before this episode. And it comes down to this moment where they just wished they did something different. Also, in the beginning of this episode, Elliot hacked a couple of people and he threw away all of his hard drives, everything, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of this episode, starts it off with a clean slate, and he sees an email from Trenton that says, "Don't delete me." You realize that Trenton sent it to Elliot. Out of all people, she sent it to Elliot. And so that's where the episode ends. I'm trying to be as concise as possible, but it doesn't seem like that's gonna be a possibility. I really, really loved this episode because I think throughout the whole season, I was just waiting and waiting, like, where are we gonna go with this? Where are we gonna go with this story? Where are we gonna go with these characters? Like, what are the possibilities and what more can happen? I think I kept saying that through every freaking episode breakdown, and we finally have a moment where we can breathe. We have a moment where we get to just be alone with Elliot without all the chaos, and I think everything was building up for this very quiet and reflective episode where it felt like time stopped for a second and Elliot was on his own and he's just trying to gather his thoughts, his emotions, his composure in order to do what he needs to do. Two great moments of this episode. Like I always say, I love his interactions with Darlene. Maybe because they're truly supposed to be like brother and sisters, and that's when you feel the most at ease and at your most self. But whenever he's with her, he's so honest, he's unfiltered, and he gets so damn real. And in this interaction with Darlene, when he's trying to explain how he's trying to get rid of Mr. Robot, his emotions just erupt and he's just in your face, and you can really truly see how great of an actor Rami Malek is once again in this little short frame of time when he has his interaction with Darlene. And it was just a really great moment to see his struggle and what's happening and what he's been trying to do this entire time to help himself get rid of this. It's a scene that I would probably go back to and watch again and again because it felt very, very powerful in your face. The other scene was, of course, when he's walking down the hallway. It felt like a Nicholas Winding Refn movie, and plus him talking to Angela in almost like a split screen type, and they're just having this moment, and even though everything's so grim and hopeless, they have this moment together and you feel a little bit more hopeful that there could be different possibilities for their future, that they can be wishful in their action and their thinking to hope that their future will not be as worse as they think it is. So that was a really, really great scene. Overall, I think this is the episode that we needed to breathe. This season has been going at a tepid pace, but at the same time, there are things that are happening very rapidly. And I just wanted a moment where we can just collectively just chill the fuck out for a second and appreciate some of the nostalgic factors of Mr. Robot when they reminisce, when they do flashbacks, when they build such a concise and conclusive episode where all the characters go back to their roots. I think the scene where Elliot breaks down, maybe he's remembering that the last time he did interact with his father was at the movie theater and he felt so overwhelmed being at that space again maybe, and I don't know, but overall, I just really loved this episode. It felt like a cleansing moment a little bit. And man, I know they're going to really ramp it up considering that there's only 2 more episodes till the season finale, which honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. I have a shoot next week. I don't know if I'll be here next week. I will try. I might just do it live because it's like so hard to keep up with sometimes. I'm trying to get it for you, you know, like every Wednesday. I feel like I'm pretty good on it. Yeah, it's a little difficult sometimes, not gonna lie. I know in last week's episode, some people have said that Trenton was gonna send the email to Darlene, which I was like, really, Darlene? And even I didn't think that she would send it to Elliot, but when that arrived, I was like, holy shit. Considering that this whole episode was kind of based on her. And I also really liked seeing Elliot back in his hacker, him as a threatening hacker, like he used to be, where he's like, I know all your information, and if you don't do this, I will get you. And he did that once again to Mowgli's brother, which was so brilliant. Yeah, I really didn't think that she was gonna send it to him, but I guess it was pretty obvious, and I cannot wait to see what he does with the information because he's the one and only person that can really reverse this at this point, because everything is gonna go to shit. And I am so sad that the season finale is gonna happen so soon because we know that he's going to start on it, and then some big thing's going to happen, and then it'll be like, season finale! So we have to wait till next season, which is going to be a total killer. But I hope they really, really drive it home next season. Like, freaking hit you hard, like, every freaking episode. And I loved, especially this episode, it was so creative. There are references with Back to the Future, War of the Wars, and little things like that I just really liked and appreciated. I know the music was also from Bill and Ted's Adventure? Is that what it's called? I have yet to watch it, but I really like Keanu, so I will watch it. I think that's it for right now. I really enjoyed this episode. I'm gonna keep it pretty short because I'm like kind of losing it because I'm not like coherent and I haven't gotten too much sleep. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. I can't wait to see you guys next week. And be sure to subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Anyways, thank you so much. Bye, friend.